Hi, I'm Shadow Witch, and I'm kind of going rogue here without Michelle, but that's alright. I just finished a video that hopefully you watched before this one. It's called Gun Violence and Some Answers. I hope you watch it. I'm so exhausted right now. It was a very intense video. It's been a really intense few days. There's so much going on in our country, and the video was focused on a lot of stuff going on in our country. I really hope you'll take the time. It's 30 minutes longer than a lot of people want to spend watching one thing on YouTube, but I hope you will take the time. This is part 2, and I'm not really going to talk about what I talked about in the last video. But after I made it, it started to make me think, wow, pretty passionate about this stuff. I always have been, and people might want to know why. Some people might have seen the video and never seen my channel before and been like, what is going on here? Did she say she was a witch? What? Yeah, I am a legit witch, and there are others. We are amongst you everywhere. And witches are real. To break it down real simple, what we do is not only a religion, Wicca, but there's another aspect, which is the science, and that's called witchcraft. Wicca, which was just started in the 1950s, consists of 8 holidays. Like we celebrate Yule when a lot of people are celebrating at that time of the year. Yule is the winter solstice. People are celebrating Christmas. Some people are celebrating Hanukkah. There's a lot of holidays at that time of the year. We have 8 holidays. We do hand fastings, which are weddings, wickenings, which are baby namings, and sadly, rites for the dead, which are funeral rites. That's our religion. And then we have the science. And I know you might be thinking, oh, wow, okay. Well, science is witchcraft, and I bet you've used some of it. And you're like, no, I don't do that kind of evil stuff. Well, one of the things we like to use is candle magic. If you've ever had birthdays on your birthday cake and you've blown those birthday candles out, that's a candle spell that goes back about 5,000 years to the Temple of Artemis in ancient Greece. That is a candle spell, my friend. Yes, it is. Herbs, potpourri, you might call it potpourri. We use magical herbs in a magical way. We utilize their natural magical properties. For instance, you might have given someone roses because they're the flower of love. Roses have the magical property of love. Salt was not originally used as a flavoring. It was originally used as protection. And superstitions like putting a horseshoe up on the wall, or wearing a crucifix, or Star of David, or special religious or spiritual necklace. They're all talismans, or they're all magical talismans. But that doesn't make them bad. It's just what used to be, magic is now called for many people tradition, ritual, religion. But at one time it was all magic. It's all we had. Except now witches are aware of it. A lot of people have forgotten. So that's all it comes down to. The reason I'm making this part 2 of the last video is I mentioned why am I so passionate about this stuff. I really get upset sometimes when I see groups like I have outside of my store the gay pride flag. I have the Ukraine flag. Because of the conflict in Ukraine, half of my family, I guess we're half Ukrainian. We always consider ourselves half Polish, but when we actually, looked at the map, We actually came from Ukraine, my ancestors. I have Black Lives Matter flag out there. And all those groups are important. They matter. I have a flag out there that says science is real. um, the witch has been ostracized, judged, tortured, murdered. It was above and beyond all the first marginalized group of people, women primarily, but others have fallen under, the noose of being put to death for heresy or witchcraft. And there were many times they were midwives, let's call cunning men or cunning women, herb women. They were the earliest pharmacists and the earliest physicians, long before physicians were considered doctors. It was those in the villages and tribes trying to keep the sick from dying and performing not only the help needed for helping a woman give birth, but also the help needed when somebody passed on to prepare the bodies. It's a very, very important position. That was the witch. Note, I did not say anything about devil worshipping. Our belief goes back so many tens of thousands of years. There was no devil. That was written way later. That was created that's a modern day concept, created about 3,000 to 5,000 years ago, according to scripture. We don't believe in what nature hasn't created. There is no devil in nature. There's no evil in nature. Some people, though, I respect greatly, have to have that in their life. They must have that, whatever, psychological threat that if I do wrong, that's going to get me. We hold ourselves to our own judge and jury. We are responsible for our actions, and we realize that karma will balance things out. And so, yeah, we've been ostracized, we've been judged. I've had people in my extended family that just don't understand me. So when I see these other groups, even though I appear to be very one of the privileged in America, when I see these other marginalized groups and I see how horribly they're being treated, my heart bleeds. I don't usually tell people this because they would look at me and say, you can't possibly know how I'm feeling. And you know what? No, I don't know if anyone can actually ever know how another person is feeling inside. That's a very personal thing. But I know what it's like. But at least, groups like the LGBTQIA plus community, Black community, Latinx community, the Asian community, the Jewish community, these people recognize you're real. Right now, we've been delegated to the caricature or Halloween, comics, cartoons. People like to put on green faces. And I mean, look at the outrage when somebody puts on blackface. Absolutely so, as it should be. But you don't hear us say anything really, even when friends will come to a Halloween party and put on a green face. Now we can do that because when we do it, we are saying that we are an herb witch, or we're a hedge witch, or we're a green witch. It means something different for us. We can do that. But if you don't identify as a witch and you do that, it is akin to being a white person wearing blackface. It's offensive. It's hurtful. It's ignorant. And we don't say anything. We're just like, yeah, well, what are you going to do? At least they're not trying to kill us anymore. Or, you know, people have directed their hate and their anger and their judgment and their ignorance at other groups, which sucks. So when I get really, really upset, it's because I have been there in my own way, on my own path, in my own shoes. I have felt what a lot of you are feeling when people look at you and don't see you as an equal. They don't consider you as somebody that they can respect, maybe not even real. I've had people say that. Just the other day, I was at a comedy club with a friend, and across the table, these people were, talking about. It was actually a friend of mine that was up. She wasn't there, but she was. Her ad was up on the screen. She's an amazing medium, and I'm like, wow, you guys, if you're at all interested, you got to see her because she is awesome. And they're like, we're skeptics, just skeptical. Okay, that's cool. You're skeptical. And some people are skeptical about science too, or I mean, I could be skeptical about a lot of things, but I don't know. That's like saying, it's a nice way to say, yeah, we think you're full of shit. We just don't believe you. That's okay. We're being nice about it. So. But that's all right. We're good with that. But that's why I'm so passionate. In this place, which is my place, which I own, my little kingdom that I rule, everybody is welcome. Every group, every belief, every race, culture, creed, it doesn't matter. Every gender, everyone except for one, and that is a hater. If you're a hater and you're going to bring that nonsense in here, you will be kindly escorted to the door. And we ask you that you bring your hate somewhere else. There's only room for love and light here. We don't have room for darkness. So when you're watching my videos, if you see the social justice ones come up, and we're talking about doing more of those, because being a witch is not all about burning candles. Well, I am going to be doing more of the social justice, what's happening, checking in with what's happening in our world. It might not be something that magic can fix. Maybe just as fellow human beings, just getting together and reaching out and just saying, hey, I feel like you feel, I empathize, I see you, and I'll do all I can to back you. I got your back. So I think we can change the world. There's a Jewish term I really, really love. I apologize if I mispronounce. Tikkun, Olam. Tikkun, Olam. It stands for repair the world or mend the world. I really love that because it's leaving it to us. We can repair the world. All of us. But not just this group or just that group. It has to be all of us, including the witches. We all need to come together and stop judging and stop hating. Realize if it's not right for you, you can leave it aside, but you don't get to judge for anybody else that your way of living has to be the way everybody else lives. Because what if somebody made that judgment and you were forced to have to live the way they want you to live? Who's to say you get to be the one to choose? You might be the one that it's chosen for. That would kind of really suck. So, why don't we just work on repairing ourselves in our little world, and hopefully the rest of the world will follow. Tikkun Olam. Thank you for visiting my circle. I'm Shadow Witch. Thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, and just being one of the magical people in my world. You mean everything to me. Blessings.